With me here is Barrister Jennifer. And today we'll be talking about zero discrimination, society, individual, and its impact. Barrister Nikoro, welcome everyone.
Thank you so much.
Please can we meet you?
Okay, so I am Jennifer Nikoro. I'm a legal practitioner, an arbitrator, and a mediator. I am the founder of Life Beyond Disability Foundation. It's a non-profit aimed at elevating the standard of living for persons living with disability. It also aimed at advocating for the rights of persons with disability in Africa. Aside that, I am a member of the Board of Appeal of Classification for International Paralympics Committee based in Germany. I'm also an advisory board member of FAMA and a board member of Inclusion and Diversity Center in Uganda. Thank you.
So thank you for the brief introduction, Barrister Jennifer. So please, can you give us a brief knowledge about your workplace and how it has built your confidence?
Thank you so much. Well, as a legal practitioner, especially in Nigeria, where we have a lot of legal practitioners who are non-disabled, there are a lot of discriminations and a lot of competition in that area of that profession. I can say that I have built a lot of confidence over time. I could remember the 3rd of December 2020, and the 3rd of December marks International Day for Persons Living with Disability. And my employer in the office had to write on her status on her WhatsApp, and she said something that I think is very important. She said, and she put my face there as a person living with disability and said help. And she said she's amazed at how I am working. And my service in the law firm has changed her mindset about persons living with disability. And seeing that from a senior partner in the law firm, I was amazed that persons are taking cognizance of my effort and my hard work. This makes me to understand, or probably this makes me to tell the public that persons living with disability can do something, even given the opportunity. So over time, I have built confidence in myself, and I've allowed persons to build confidence in me. Thank you.
That's very good to know. I think you have enlightened me more about being confident. I am very proud of you right now. Tell me how you knowledge about your educational background.
Okay, yeah. So I schooled in Amsterdam University in Edo State, and I studied law for 5 years, of course. Then I went to Kano Law School, where I also did my professional courses, and I was called to bar in 2018. And thereafter, after coming out of school, I extended my studies to go for short programs in mediation. I started from associate membership in mediation. That's a professional course. And after that, I progressed into becoming a member, having membership in mediation. And thereafter, I also extended my course into becoming an arbitrator. And most of the reasons I extended my studies was because of the discrimination with respect to persons living with disabilities. It was so obvious that this profession is competitive and there is really no much space at the top. How much of persons living with disability? So for you to compete with them, you have to probably be outstanding in one way or the other. Living with disability is, especially in Africa, not in Western countries, but in Africa, it's tough. I would say it's tough. It's really tough because there are really there are not so many support systems to help you. So it's quite tough if you're alone or if you don't have any aids to help you. Well, the question you said is how I was able to overcome challenges.
Yes.
The first thing you should understand is, in brief, the first thing you should understand is the society will tell you who you are not. You have to tell yourself who you are. You have to tell yourself who you are and what you want to be. Because if you listen to the various voices around you, they give you negative vibes. So you have to make you understand it. You have to calm down and make and understand yourself and tell yourself that this is who I am and this is who I want to become. Primarily for me, I was able to get that positive vibe through the simple power of Jesus Christ. I believing in God's word and believing specifically that I am not a mistake. And by the way, I was born this way. I was born without flaws. So I've lived all my life like this. So I have known the discrimination right from when I was little. Yes, and I've lived quite an isolated life for a very long time before I came in contact with the saving power of Jesus. One day I started believing in myself and my potentials, even when nobody believed in me except my family members. So that's one of the things, having a change of mindset about you firstly. And if you have a change of mindset, then you start seeing opportunities even when there is a closed door. You start seeing abilities and inabilities, you start seeing potentials even when nobody is saying it. That's the first thing to do. First thing to do. And when those opportunities or when you start seeing abilities in you, don't just sit there. You have to come out to the public and change their mindset about who you are first.
Okay, so I think everybody has get that now. Like, why live your life in sadness when you can enjoy happiness?
That's true.
Thank you. I think I got the point from that. There's a day set aside for zero discrimination. Do you think this day has fulfilled its purpose in Nigeria?
Okay, so 1st of March, I believe,
Yes.
has been set aside as a day for zero discrimination, as a day to speak out against inequalities and discrimination. Thus far, it has been impactful to an extent, but we are yet to see the full impact in the lives of many persons because we still have discrimination everywhere. I just talked briefly about my earlier interviews I have on how I get to have physical interviews with people and they interview me and they're looking at me. They're not even looking at the CV, they're looking at me on, can this person do this job? Are you sure we're not wasting our time or won't waste our money or our salary if we bring this person in and they feel physical disability is a total limitation. So we have a lot of unconscious biases. Yeah, a lot of persons have unconscious biases. So I think we still have a long way to go in quenching those unconscious biases. And briefly, I want to give an instance of my workplace again.
Okay.
Getting into my workplace, I came in via virtual interview, like a lot of physical interview, and it was during the Corona period, the pandemic, yes. So when I was called, the recruiter said, we saw your CV and we are looking for a person to fill up this position in education. And I did an interview and shortly after they informed me that, okay, you got the job. After this whole stuff, they gave me a time to come to work. What I do most of the time when I'm changing a job is I go in and I have a prosthetics. I will have prosthetics hand I wear, but I am not so regular. I don't wear it all the time because I was born this way. So I feel with myself just the way I am anyway. So I only wear it probably when I'm going to new places and I just feel like
Be yourself.
not really being myself. If I want to be myself, I'll be like this, trust me. This is myself. But just wanting to associate and calm the atmosphere. Because the first thing that they do when they see persons with disabilities is to stare at them. Like, are you a human being? For Christ's sake, we are human beings too. That's the first point of discrimination. They have this unconscious bias. Like, you are not supposed to be here. This is not your place. You're supposed to be somewhere else. You shouldn't treat you equally. So what I do, to cut a long story short, is I go for my prosthetics, and for the first 2 to 3 weeks, I get to show my best capacity. Of course, I'm always at my best at all times, but before persons get to recognize or get to know that I have a disability, to take some days for them to be able to know to wear the prosthetic, to take some days. Except probably I have to pull it off to do to type on Microsoft Word or to do something on the computer. But before the person's authority gets to know, to take a few days. And even when it takes those few days, they won't drive you out or they won't probably tell you to stop work. They will observe you because they are, as human beings, we are emotional beings. Yes, so they feel, oh, we have made a mistake, but let's see how we want to calm this mistake, how we want to remove it probably. So what I do is I bring out my best. I can even take some extra hours, take some work home if possible. But I'm doing it because I love what I do and I want to prove to people, because the life we live is a life where we always prove to people that we can do it. You see, a person's living with disability they want to work.
Yeah, sure.
They are hardworking, they are resilient, and they are actually determined people. But people don't see it that way. They feel that you are less able, you can't do anything, you can't even do much. So after all of those things, that's when I told you that my boss in the office had to celebrate me on International Day for Persons with Disabilities. She said, I never knew you could do this, and you have changed my mentality about persons living with disability.
Please, and what are the possible measures to ensure inclusion of people with disability in communities?
Inclusion in society is very important, not just for persons living with disability, but for everyone. Everyone should be included. Employ persons living with disability. We talked about that earlier. Employ them. There's a Disability Act that talks about 5% of persons living with disability should be employed in government organization, public facilitators. That's not being implemented. It will be getting implemented soon. Employ them. Put them in action, because as I said, we want to work. Although we don't have so many persons living with disability who are educated, but those that are educated, I think we should actually encourage them, because they went the extra miles to get what other persons with non-disability have. So it shouldn't be that they just get the education and they're not employed. And those that are not educated, probably they are skilled in one thing or the other. You should get them engaged in what they're skilled at or what they want to be skilled at. And not leaving them littering about the street, begging for arms, soliciting for arms. It's inhuman, it's not right. Another possible measure is we should also think of persons with disability, putting them in political positions. Have you seen any person with disability in any political position? Probably in Africa, or probably, I don't know, beyond Africa, but in Nigeria and Africa. They are not there. And one of the reasons why they are not there is because probably some people don't feel that we are supposed to be there. Not just telling them you have a right to contest, but also encouraging them, empowering them to be in these positions and put in offices, and also campaigns. Even politicians should campaign. There should be awareness for persons with disability in all of those places. We should also have representatives. I think it talks about political positions too. Employing persons in political positions, having representatives in these offices. We should have representatives, who are there to represent the need of persons with disabilities. That is quite important.
Barrister Jennifer, how often do you interact with society, and how are you able to encounter some challenges faced?
Well, I'll start from my shared experience again, briefly. I lived in isolation for a very long time, especially while growing up. The only community or the only persons I could interact freely with were my family members who understood me and they believed in me. Aside that, the society saw me differently, and some were scared. Especially in Africa, we see persons with disability as something went wrong. Probably they were cursed by the gods. You see persons feel, okay, this is a curse, because the parents went wrong. Especially when you tell them that I was born this way, you say, it's sadly, it's sadly, thank God. You hear people say, thank God I don't have what you have. Thank God my child does not have a disability. And lastly, I became a lawyer. As a lawyer that I am right now, I go to court and I appear in court. I move motions. When there are clients are assigned to me, briefs are on my table, I have to deliver. I can't say because of my disability, I shouldn't deliver. I go to police station to be a client in the police station. At first, some of them would not want to accept you, but you have to be able to push to get their friendship. And when you get they become an admiration or an inspiration to them. And we get to see clients that get to give me extra tips just because they feel I did something beyond what they expect. So, in all I've said, I have gone through processes: isolation, renewal of my mind, via God's word, believing in myself, and bringing out what I believed in myself.
What kind of campaign do you think the government can plan to fight against discrimination?
Firstly, I believe there should be a lot of orientation campaign. Yes, and it should come from the grassroots. It should start from the grassroots. It should start from the primary schools, secondary schools. Little children need to see persons living with disabilities or any form of needs that they have, challenge they have. They need to start seeing them as human beings too. Because these little children will grow into adulthood. And if you don't change their mindset when they are little, they will have that image of you when they are older. And it continues. So orientation campaigns can start from the grassroots. Yes. Also, there should be policies, policies that should be implemented to support persons with needs, not just persons with disability alone, but persons with needs. There should be policies that should be in place.
As an individual, what are your efforts in building capacity in the community?
I am the founder of a non-profit known as Life Beyond Disability Foundation, aimed at advocating for the rights of persons living with disability and also empowering persons living with disability in Africa. We have done a lot of physical advocacy when we go for outreaches in disability communities, and we get to meet them, provide for their medical needs, provide for other needs they have, empowering them. We have empowered over 200 persons living with disability through our NGO. Aside that, we are also advocating through social media. We have several media platforms where we advocate for inclusion, we advocate for rights of persons living with disabilities. Yes, so thank you. And lastly, as a legal practitioner, I've also added my voice in helping persons, elevating the hardship of persons living with disability. One that's still on my table is the story of a young boy, an 8-year-old boy, who was deprived of admission into a primary school based on the basis of his disability. His younger sister is in that school, but currently in that school. But when the mother brought him in to be admitted, the school proprietor specifically told the parent, the mother, that we can't admit your son because he has a disability. Take him to a public school. He can be well nurtured there. And we also have a high profile image. We have our school have a high profile image. So if we start admitting persons with disability, it will make other parents withdraw their words from the school. This is a shocking reality, but it happens. It happens every day, every time, because they don't see us as people who should be, who should associate with them. And she had to reach out to me and say, how can she help? Because the younger sister is in that school. There was no discrimination. But when the boy came down to stay with her, to live with her, the boy wasn't living with her initially, and she decided to put the boy where the younger sister is. She started having, and he wasn't admitted. So that's what's on my table right now. That is a subtle form of discrimination that persons with disability face on a day-to-day basis.
I've been touched by what she said today, especially the key is really, really bad for us to have a school, a private school. Wow, that's really bad. So what advice would you have for someone that is insecure? Just to wrap up the show for today, what advice would you have for a person that is insecure, that is not able to face the society because he or she is disabled or he or she has an ailment? What advice would you have for that person?
One of the advice I have for specifically persons with disability who may have gotten their disability through probably accidents or maybe based on a health challenge. The disability can come in various forms anyway. My advice for them is the fact that at present that's the life that they have to live. Persons with disability have to understand that this is who they are for now. Yes, it has to dawn on you that this is what I have now. So how can I make lemon out of lemon? So it's very, very important for you to sit yourself down and talk to yourself. How can I be productive in the remaining 100 years of my life, 40 years of my life? And starting with that, you build your self-esteem. I believe self-esteem, building self-esteem is not about your physical structure, basically, because if it's physical structure, the most beautiful girl or most beautiful person in the world should be the person that should have the highest form of self-esteem or confidence. Self-esteem is all about you sitting yourself down, observing your potential, bringing the best out of you, believing in yourself, very, very important, believing in yourself, and also holding God as the forefront of your life. By so doing, you'll be confident anytime, any day. So insecurity shouldn't rob you of the best that you have.
Yeah.
The best is still yet to come. Insecurity shouldn't rob you of it. So you have to fight it every day. Fight it with every means. Fight it with God factor. Fight it with believing factor and every other factor. So that's my advice for persons living with disability. Don't take what society says. Society will say so many things. You should say something about yourself that is positive. And surround yourself with positive vibes that will help you. By so doing, you will outgrow your limitations.
So to everyone out there, find your confidence, be yourself, be true to yourself always, and remain positive every time. I remain at the cartel way to meet you next time. Thank you very much.